Hello, everyone. Today we're going to talk about the hatred for the Steelers. Not actually. We're just going to talk about how people's predictions were wrong and how people switch up so quickly on the Steelers here. So we're going to start off with McCorkle's prediction for the 2024 season for the Steelers. And we're obviously going to look at this and see their reasoning and understand why they're choosing the team to win or lose. So let's start off the Atlanta Falcons. They say the Atlanta Falcons will win 21-17 and the Steelers will be 0-1. Now, he was wrong, clearly, and he talks about how the Steelers' offensive line had struggles in the preseason, which why are we taking the preseason in consideration anymore? The preseason is just shit to even take into consideration anymore at this point, to me at least. I've never taken the preseason serious. That shit is so lame. We should just get rid of it. Personally, I think it's stupid. And then at the Denver Broncos, he predicts that the Steelers will beat the Denver Broncos, which is right. He talks about how Bo Nix has impressed the Broncos, but that doesn't mean he is ready to elevate them quite yet, which is fair and understandable. But as we've seen last week, the Broncos aren't something to take lightly either. And this man also predicts that the Chargers will win against the Steelers, and mostly just because that Bud Dupree joined the mix because he was promised a 3 OLB package, and he joins with some pretty big defense players, as he kind of talks about in this. But clearly does not happen the way this man thinks. And then he thinks the Steelers will beat the Colts. Obviously, I think this will be true. We're mostly going to be focusing on the first 3 weeks because that's what's going to really matter in this conversation for us here. So, obviously, right here we have the Steelers are predicted to be 1-2. And this is by a large margin. A lot of people have agreed that the Steelers will become 1-2 by the end of going into week 4. They will be 1-2. Now let's see everyone's favorite commentator. I know no one really enjoys this man talking, and I understand why. It's understandable, but let's see what he says about the Steelers.
Well, the Pittsburgh Steelers are off to a pretty surprising 3-0 start. Let's add context to it. They face Kirk Cousins in the opener, coming off a surgery, who just wasn't moving.
But then people also talked about this, but the Steelers were also predicted to lose that game. I don't understand the conversation at that point anymore. Then why predict the Falcons were going to win that game when their QB1 was coming off of a surgery? That makes no sense to me. Therefore, it's like a no-brainer. Yes, the Steelers are going to win because Kirk is coming off a injury, a serious one at that.
Then they face Bo Nix in his second career start in a Denver roster that's okay. And then yesterday,
which is fair. I think everyone knew that the Steelers were going to beat the Broncos. It makes sense.
they faced 50-60% at best Justin Herbert, who left the game early. They're averaging one touchdown a game.
50-60% Herbert. I mean, again, you can't complain about that when quite literally the coaches put in Herbert. Me personally, I think if I was the head coach for the Chargers in that situation, I wouldn't have even started Herbert personally because he seriously doesn't need to play when he's having a ankle sprain. It made no sense because it will turn into something more serious.
Game which is tied for last in the league. I'm sorry, Steeler fan. There's a ceiling to this. I'm happy for Justin Fields, and it's a great sign that Arthur Smith is getting the most out of him. I never thought Justin Fields would complete 73% of his throws. He looked...
Well, I would. I don't know why everyone put down Justin Fields so quickly. When I heard the Steelers signed him, I was like, great, because Justin Fields, one, is still relatively young. He is still young, and not even just that, but he was on the shittiest team known to man. They didn't give a shit about him. That to me just it showed that, because from watching games of Justin Fields, he has so much promise to him, and it shows with the Steelers.
Lost in Chicago, which just that looks even worse for the Bears now that Justin Fields can play. This is
Yes, and I completely agree with him on this take. I think the Bears are just bad. Personally, I know this is going off of what the video topic is, but it's the truth. The Bears do not know how to work around with a amazing QB starter, such as Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is good, without a doubt, good. But that offensive coordinator, head coach, just need to go, in my opinion. They are not doing anything for the Bears. They are just making them worse. And you can't say the Bears don't have weapons. They do, but they don't capitalize on them like they should. You have Keenan Allen. Keenan fucking Allen. And you aren't capitalizing on that? You're stupid for that. Dumb.
simultaneously good for the Steelers and terrible for Chicago. It's nothing against it. It's good for the Steelers. It's a bad look for the Bears, but we have to be honest about this. I know, Steeler fans, you've never been under 500. I get it. You can't score one touchdown a game, and there's a total ceiling to this.
And I do agree. I think the Steelers do need to go up on their scoring, which they most likely will. It's just Justin Fields getting more comfortable with the team. Again, it's his first year on a good team. Like, you gotta realize that this man was on Chicago Bears. When was the last time they've seen a winning record? Because it definitely wasn't when Justin Fields was in. They had so many losing records. Hell, they are down in the fucking deep end as we speak. But yes, I do agree. Steelers do need to score more. So those are two of the things out of the three that I'm wanting to show you guys. The next one is a video of a man predicting the Steelers record for 2024. Again, we're only going to look at the first 3 weeks because that's all that's happened so far. So let's go ahead and see.
So make sure you guys join us at that time and place and day, because it's going to be a fantastic day here on Steelers Talk. Watch party season is back, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. Okay, now let's get into the first week. Atlanta Falcons versus the Steelers.
And he says that the Steelers will lose to the Falcons immediately because of Russell Wilson being injured. Why do we all think that Russell Wilson will even play great? I think Russell Wilson will play I don't think he'll play great. I think he'll be Personally, I think Justin Fields is the best option for the Steelers to work with and to go with. Hell, I think he should be QB1 right now. Obviously, Mike Tomlin thinks different, which I think there's a few problems with Mike Tomlin personally. Yes, Mike Tomlin hasn't had a losing season, but he also hasn't proven that he can make a Super Bowl team. So, he says that the Steelers will lose because Russell Wilson won't be there.
In my preview, I actually picked the Steelers to win. But with all the Russell Wilson stuff, his calf tightens up. It might be Justin Fields. It might be Russell Wilson. There's a lot of uncertainty surrounding this football game. So because I have the Falcons as a playoff team this year and they're the home team, I think if you knew for sure that you had a healthy Russell Wilson, I think the Steelers win this game. But with the uncertainty, I'm going to go with the Falcons.
I just hate how everyone thinks Russell Wilson is this golden nugget that the Steelers have needed. I don't think so. I think they're fine without him right now. Obviously, when it comes down to the big games and all of that, I don't think Justin Fields would do great with the pressure because he's never been in that type of situation. But with that, I don't think Russell Wilson has it in him anymore. I think Russell Wilson has lost his touch, personally, and it kind of showed in his later years coming down to it. Uh, that's me personally. I think he's a good player, but I don't think he's a good player anymore. But he has the Falcons winning, and he thinks the Falcons are a Super Bowl contender team.
To win week 1 in my official record prediction. Week 2 against the Broncos. I think Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, whoever the quarterback ends up being, is going to get the W against the Broncos in Mile High. It's never an easy place to play, especially early on in the season with the altitude and all that stuff. But I do think the Steelers will make life hard on Bo Nix and that defense. I think he'll make multiple big mistakes.
And I think he did make big mistakes. I know I'll cut him off right there, but it's the truth. The defense did pressure him into a lot of bad throws, which I don't blame Bo Nix. You know, you are going through so much pressure, you don't know what to do. But again, I think the Steelers just need to get comfortable with actually scoring. Because the Steelers don't score much. They score, again, with what Colin here said, once a game. They score once a game, and then they leave it all to Chris Boswell. I don't think that's a good play. I don't think that's good. But let's continue.
Mistakes in the passing game, and I think the Steelers' defense really leads that team to victory in Week 2. Then we get to the Chargers game in Week 3. I think the home opener will be victorious for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, I'm not actually a big believer in the Chargers this year. I think Harbaugh is going to need a couple years to really build his program to his liking. I'm not a big fan of Greg Roman and his fit with the quarterback Justin Herbert. Plus, Herbert's been dealing with injuries all throughout training camp, so how long is it going to take for him to knock off the rust? I think the Steelers' defense, once again, has a good game. And
he was right. The only thing I have a problem with the Chargers anymore is Justin Herbert. Not saying like, oh, he's fucking horrible, he's the reason. No, I'm saying that I think the Chargers need to let go of Justin and let Justin go to another team. And I know that's saying something crazy because, you know, they have relied on Justin for quite some time, actually. But I'm saying, like, if I was Justin Herbert, I would want to go to a team that actually has a good O-line. As we've seen with Joe Burrow, he's had a horrible O-line, and he quite literally was getting injured quite a bit, a little bit too much as well. Okay, and we're going to continue looking at some of these TikToks because why not? So let's go ahead and see what he said.
Steelers get a great win at home against the Chargers, 20-10. I want to talk about the Chargers before I do the Steelers. Steelers, great win, but I mean, let's talk about the Chargers. Chargers, why did you put Justin Herbert out there? He was bad.
Yes, and I agree. They shouldn't have put Justin Herbert out there at all. I know you're wanting to win, but this is my point of saying that Justin Herbert needs to go to a new team. Because they put him out there knowing damn well that his ankle was hurt. Even if Justin Herbert was like, please let me play, please. Hell no. Hell no. You're going to sit out this game because we need you throughout the season. So I think Justin Herbert needs to understand. Hopefully he didn't ask to be put in. And here's another thing to show you guys for week 1 here. The Steelers were predicted to lose week 1 by Game Preview, which would be like some NFL analyst and all this or whatever. Only 2 people thought the Steelers would win this game out of the 10 on screen. That is crazy. It just showed that this glaze for other teams were crazy against the Steelers beforehand. There's not much to say here other than, like, and then I go to some of these people that predicted that the Falcons would win were also the same people as like, well, it's not even fair. The Steelers went against a guy that just came off an injury. Then why would you predict that they would win? That makes no sense to me. It's like saying that the Steelers were going to win a game when they have Justin Fields and Russell Wilson injured. That's like me saying that Steelers have a chance of winning. They really don't. But it is what it is.
Steelers record
Let's
is going to
see.
look like in 2024, and we think it's going to be pretty good.
16-1.
Oh, you're saying that off the rip?
We've discussed it being pretty good in
Well,
the
we've
past.
discussed it, but we've never looked at it.
Russell Wilson or Justin Fields?
Russell Wilson.
Yeah, to start the season.
Interesting week 1 matchup. It's at the Falcons. I think the Falcons win this one.
I feel like the Falcons are at home are a pretty good ball club.
I'm really, really excited to see what Kirk Cousins can do with all those weapons. Is Arthur Smith still the head coach?
No.
He's with the Steelers now.
Oh, really?
Oh,
He's the offensive
revenge.
coordinator.
Then they travel to Mile
Yeah,
High.
dude. The Steelers did some work on the off season. I will say that. Like looking at it from a different perspective, the Steelers have maybe, if not the best defense. It's just that offense needs to still be kind of worked on, to be fair, but still good.
Mile High. They got Denver at 425. They win that game. They're 1-1.
no
Easy
bang.
win for them. Then they host the Chargers. They're dealing with a rookie head coach in Jim
we go.
Harbaugh.
Yep,
and
that's how
then-
it works.
He has coached in the NFL before.
You know what I fucking meant? New coach.
Who wins?
The Steelers win that game. They travel to Indianapolis, who
So, these guys here predicted that the Steelers would win 2 out of the 3 first week games, which I don't see why people were taking the Falcons as much as they were, but it is what it is. But I think that's it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys on Monday. There's gonna be a new little schedule thing at the end of the video to tell you that I'm going to be uploading on different days now, so be sure to look at that, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.